How's everyone doing today? Give me a big thumbs up in the chat if you can hear me. Hey, happy Wednesday. Hey, someone said, hey, Stu Crew, what's going on? What's happening out there, YouTube? Give me that big old thumbs up so that you can hear me and say, hey, we can hear you loud and clear. You're coming in. And we are ready for an amazing webinar that I have planned for you tonight. Absolutely fantastic. So just so you guys know, there's going to be a bunch of you on here. I just want to take the time out to first and foremost tell you guys, if you are live with me, you could type any questions that you have in the chat. I will try to get to you as best as possible, answer any questions that you might have, because I love making this particular webinar super interactive, because I try to answer some of the crazy questions that you have there, as far as, you know, how do I prepare for getting the for getting prepared for, you know, finding out what brokerage is the right one for me. Okay, because dear God, I've been to so many brokerages myself. So someone in the chat, Vincent, said, thank you for helping me pass my exam. Well, you know what? Thank you for using Prep Agent, and thank you for coming on here, watching the videos, doing everything that we possibly can to help you out here. So without that, if you haven't taken the plunge yet, if you're still studying for your exam, you haven't taken the plunge yet, what I'm going to tell you is this. Yeah, and you know what? Someone said in the chat, congrats, Vincent. I didn't even say congrats, I don't think. I think I just said, hey, Vincent, you passed your exam. And then I went on to plug in Prep Agent. But you know what? Congrats. You guys really, and Ro even said pass today. Great stuff. I love seeing that in the chat. You know, we're one big happy family here. And what I want to tell you is this. If you haven't taken the plunge yet to sign up for Prep Agent, and you are still struggling to get through some of the material, definitely invest in this. Listen, I'm going to tell you this. I tell my agents, I tell people that I work with in my daily, every single day life, if you're studying for either a broker or salesperson exam, go to prepagent.com/sign up and pick your state. And you have a couple different choices to choose from. You got premium, you got deluxe. What I will tell you is this. I mean, obviously, the premium is something that you definitely, it's going to be the biggest package, but I'm going to tell you this, you get webinars. So if you guys don't know who I am, I'd run about like 3, 4, 7 webinars. I don't know how many webinars I run each week, but I help you guys out to pass that exam. You have the vocab worksheet. You also get a history. If you sit there and you want to go through some of the other webinars that we have recorded, we will have a full library for you. And if you're like, hey, you know what? I don't like this Stu guy. That's all right. We got 3 other instructors. We got Joe, Adrian, and Cynthia that could help you guys out. So if you haven't taken the plunge yet, listen, do this, okay? Do this for yourselves, because I will tell you this, it is a game changer. It will help you out. But with that being said, once you do pass the exam, once you do get to that point where you're ready to take that plunge and figure out what brokerage is right for you, there's questions that I'm sure you guys have. There's things that I'm sure that you guys are trying to figure out, okay, what should I be asking these brokers? What should I be doing? And I will tell you this. So what I want you to do is this. I want you guys to put in the chat right now. I want you to tell me, what is your biggest concern? Okay. Jacqueline said she's new here. Guess what? You're not going to be new here for long, because you're going to definitely be coming back, watching more videos, and hopefully signing up if you haven't already. So hope to see you in the chats in the future and some of our future webinars. So glad to have you here. Welcome to the Stu Crew. Welcome to fun little webinar that we usually run. And usually it's on real estate exam prep, but once a week we do go over the stuff that happens after you pass your exam. So what I want you to do is tell me, what are some concerns you guys have about choosing that right broker, okay? Training. Debbie put in there training. Training is a huge concern. So here's what I'm going to tell you, and I'm going to really stress this, okay? I think that training's important, but I think what's more important than training, listen. Everyone says training. And here's the thing, though. I've been to so many training sessions. And do you know how many times I've sat there and said, oh, my God, the training is awful. Here's the thing. If I said to you, I want a hamburger, hamburgers come in all different shapes and sizes. I could get a hamburger from McDonald's. I could get a hamburger from a steakhouse. I could get a hamburger from White Castle. They're all different. They're all different quality. So when you guys say training, that's great. Offering training is, I think, a bare minimum. That's like saying, hey, I want a hamburger. But now we have to get into the nitty-gritty. And the nitty-gritty is this. How successful is your training? What is your track record on your training? Because here's the thing. You could have training, but if you don't have a proven track record as a brokerage, I mean, is your training really worth it? Is it worth anything that you're offering, right? Because if I said to you, I have a hamburger, but it's a frozen White Castle hamburger. Now, some of you guys might be thinking that's delicious, but some of you might be like, I don't know. I don't know if that's what I want. And that's something that you have to decide, because, and this is what I will tell you. There is no brokerage that is one size fits all that is going to suffice and be the perfect brokerage for me, for you, for your brother, for your sister. So that is the situation there. So Carlos asks, is this all about post-test items? Yeah, I'm not going over any real estate exam prep stuff tonight. Tonight is all after I pass that exam and stuff like that. But we do have a ton of free videos on the channel, so go ahead and check that out if that's something that's really a concern to you. So once a week we do these. We do this kind of like how do you choose a broker? How do you do time management? Stuff like that. So we call them kind of like the pro agent kind of things, like the agent school, like our own training. So that is the situation there. So someone said, Crystal said, love White Castle. I love White Castle too. I'm a fat kid. I always say this. I tell people this. I'm a fat kid on the inside and the outside. So as Tammy said, immediate prestige with the name of the brokerage. If selling to one percenters, will be Sotheby's, Coldwell Banker, Global Luxury, all that kind of stuff. Yeah, so what I'll tell you is this, and you bring up a good point and kind of where I wanted to segue to as well. The situation is this. I think that what's more important than training itself is the culture, okay? The culture of the brokerage. And I was talking about that the other day with one of my, someone that's in my market that owns a brokerage. And he says culture comes before anything else, because if it's not the right fit for the agent and it's not the right fit for the broker, then it's not going to be a good fit. Then what's going to happen is this. So a good broker, okay, here's what happens is they want you to be successful. So if you aren't the right fit for them in their office, they're not going to want to have you equally as you wouldn't want to be at that brokerage. Okay. And keep that in mind too. So culture is super, super important, because I've been at brokerages. Okay. I've been at brokerages where culture is not an important thing. Culture is not something that the brokerage, that the leadership really drives. And what happens is this. Mentors don't have a clear agenda as to what they're doing. The trainings are not as good as you would see at other brokerages. So yes, they offer training. Yes, they offer mentorship. But what is their success rate? It's pretty poopy. It's not there. People are either they are successful in spite of the lack of quality training. Okay. Jennifer's asking a really great question, and I actually want to answer this one really quick. If I know I'll be moving within the next year, should I choose a brokerage with a big name so I can transfer offices to the same big brand when I land in a new location within the state? Loaded question. I'm going to give you a loaded answer, and it kind of goes to where I want to go next. You should be choosing a brokerage based on your goals, okay? You should be choosing a broker who is going to meet and have the tools to make you successful. So a lot of people ask me, they say, what commission split should I get? Well, guess what? You could give me a 100% commission split and say, Stu, you could keep all the money. You could keep all the money, honey. And guess what? All of you would probably be like, if I offered you, right? If I offered you a 100% commission split, give me a big thumbs up if you guys would be happy with that. Would you guys be happy if I said to you, let's say I ran Stu's amazing, wonderful, fantastic, we love White Castle, Burgers brokerage, right, where there's burgers every day, and I gave you 100% split, Okay, would you be happy? Thumbs up in the chat if you say, yeah, oh my God, I love 100% split. No extra fees. I'm eating all that. I just want awesome people with me. Okay, if you guys are saying thumbs up to that, I want to see how many of you guys think that would be an awesome thing. Some people are saying no. Yeah, this is definitely concerning a little bit, right? Because some of you are saying yeah, some of you are smiling. I see that. And here's the thing. Someone else said, Rose said, as long as I sell. So here's the thing. A brokerage could offer you anything. So someone said there's a catch somewhere. No, there's no catch. There's no catch. Because what I'm going to tell you is this. No matter what the split is, no matter what the trainings are, no matter what anything is, if they aren't going to be meeting your goals or helping you hit your goals, then they're not the right brokerage for you. Right? They're not the right brokerage for you. So you guys can't be choosing a brokerage that's not going to be meeting your goals. So here's something that I want you to do when you go and interview with your brokers. So a lot of you were asking too. Someone else in there said Deirdre, and I hope I pronounced that right. So you just call random ones and see if they are looking. And here's what I'm going to tell you. You could. I would start looking within the community as well. So like where I start, like whenever I have one of my students say to me, Stu, where should I start? I always ask them, what are you looking to do? You know, I know people in agricultural, industrial real estate. I know people in commercial. I know people who focus on investment properties. I know brokerages that are, run of the mill, just, great, standard brokerages that'll, you'll buy and sell houses. They're absolutely 100%. So I always ask them, what is it that you're looking to do? Now, I want you to do a couple things when you're looking for a brokerage, okay? Number one, go on Google and try to figure out how buyers find them, how sellers find them, how people that you're going to be working with, how they find them. And then see if you could figure out what their reputation is online. Do they have a good reputation? Do they have a bad reputation? Because I've had some students who've gone to brokerages and said, Stu, dear God, they have the worst reputation in the world, and I never knew it. And I said, yeah, because you were coming at it from a different angle than the consumers were. The consumers were looking out on Google and Facebook and all that kind of stuff, and they were typing in Stu's Burger Real Estate Agency. So Stu's Burger Real Estate Agency didn't get really good reviews. The office always smelled like White Castle or In-N-Out Burger. In-N-Out Burger is actually one of my guilty pleasures whenever I'm on the West Coast. So I always love that. See, again, it always goes back to food. It always does. But I digress for a second. But what I was saying to you guys is I want you to find out, what are buyers, sellers, tenants, landlords, investors? How are they finding them? Because here's the thing, okay? Here's the thing. If it's hard to find that broker, okay, if you're typing in, luxury homes in Houston, Texas, okay, luxury homes in Houston, Texas, and that's what you want to sell, and your brokerage isn't coming up, the brokerage that you've chosen, bottom line is, that's probably going to be a big regret, okay? So who likes that tip? Who likes that tip of saying, hey, pretend like you're a buyer, seller, landlord, tenant, and try to find that brokerage based on typing in, luxury homes in Houston, Texas, or, beachfront properties in, where's a good beachfront community? Is South Carolina beachfront communities. Yeah. Try to see what their reputation is. See how easy it is to find them. See if there's Facebook groups. See what people are saying in Facebook groups. Because what happens is, a lot of people are going to be looking online, looking in Facebook, doing a lot of things. So, Deirdre asked, so what after that? Do you just call them? Well, what I would do is this. So the next step after you've found that out. So let's say you got a list of let's say 3 brokers that you've vetted, you've sat there, you've done this, you say, okay, I'm ready to reach out to them. You can reach out to the brokerage itself, and just go right through there. Or what I would do is actually reach out to one of their agents. I would say, hey, there's two reasons why. Okay, number one, I like reaching out to agents because agents are usually honest, okay? And Rose asking me, how do you vet them? And how I vet them is, like I said, I find my brokerages through what my goal is. Like I said, if I want to sell beachfront properties, if I want to sell luxury properties, if I want to sell... Because here's the thing, before you even pick a brokerage, you have to have a goal. If you don't have a goal, you're just going there and saying, why are you awesome? And they're telling you, why are they awesome? And here's the thing, you're going to go with the brokerage that sounds better. That's the better salesperson, the more well-polished one. That's just what's going to be. You're just going to gravitate towards the person who just is more articulate, okay? Look, I could whisper sweet nothings in your ears and tell you all these wonderful things, but I will tell you this, I am not the right broker for everybody. Otherwise, guess what? There would only be Stu's amazing, fantastic burger brokerage, and that would be it, okay? There would be one size fits all, but it's not, okay? And that's even, too, why we have 4 instructors over at Prep Agent, and each one of us has a different style, okay? It's something that we all teach it a little different way. We have a little different wording, okay? So Maria asked a great question. Do I need to wait until I pass my exam to interview? No, you don't have to do that. You don't have to wait until you pass your exam, because if it's something that you want to make sure that you line up, okay, then definitely you could start interviewing, as long as it's not something that's going to cause you any stress or anxiety. If it's going to cause you any stress, anxiety, angst, anything like that, I wouldn't do it. But if it's something that you're like, hey, this would be a great thing for me to just know that I have it hammered out, I know what I want, or at least you start the process, then that's fantastic. So Jennifer asked another situation, like a goal as in make enough money to have full-time work. Or, yeah, here's the thing. Your goal should be, and I talk about this in some of my other webinars, your goals should be SMART goals, okay? SMART goals are referred to as this. They're specific, measurable, they are they are attainable, okay? They are, what was the R? I always forget what it is, but they're, I always forget what the SMART goals are. And help me out in the chat. If you guys have been in any corporate trainings, they're SMART goals. They're specific, measurable, then the A, the R, and the T. I think T is time specific. They have to be time specific, okay? Sarah just said she passed her exam today. Congrats, Sarah. It's relative, yes, thank you. Thank you. See, that's in all the corporate. It's specific, measurable, realistic, and timely. Yes, thank you very much. So those are the SMART goals. Specific, measurable, realistic, and timely. Thank you. Silvio, give yourself a gold star. You're helping me out there. See, I start talking about things, and that's what happens when you go off the cuff, and then you're like, oh, that's my, and you see, this is what I'll tell you. I'll give you a little insight into me. I definitely have ADD, dyslexia, so I have all those learning disabilities. You guys probably are sitting there going, oh, I struggle with one of those. I struggle with this. I struggle with that. I'm basically one of those that says, oh my gosh, like if there's a shiny object in my room, I'd probably sit there and I'll be like, oh my God, like I'll totally be distracted for 5 seconds. So like I said, it makes for very interesting classes. But like I said, I do struggle with that too. So that's something too that throughout my real estate career, all the things that you guys probably are about to venture off into, I've done. So Andrea said, I'm a veteran. Thank you for your service. I want to focus on military and vets. I'm in Florida. Well, what would I do to find a brokerage to support my needs? I was looking at a national brokerage because I have military friends everywhere. So I'll tell you a couple things like this that will help you. So one thing that I would do is this. I would look into the MRP certificate. That's the Military Relocation Professional. I am a military relocation professional. It teaches you the ins and outs and things that you might not necessarily know about dealing with moving of military families, because there's nuances there that you might already know being a vet. Okay. There are things that you might not know. So, and also it's a great community to be a part of, because we have a nationwide network. It's a continuing education class that you could take in many states online, many states in person. I did an in-person class. And that is one way. And then again, what I would tell you is this: type into your, find the local, what I would do is this: I would find the local military base. And I would say, Fort Hamilton, housing, and see what real estate agencies pop up. And then if there's one real estate brokerage that just seems to be popping up all the time when you do that, clearly that if there is a military vet looking for a Fort Hamilton, residence, then clearly that's one that they probably might go to. So what I would do is that I would take your goal of, hey, I want to work with military families. And I would take that goal, bring it to the brokerage and say, how are you going to help me work with 7 military families this year when I just start my business? Boom. That is a smart goal, okay? And that is a situation there. And if some of you are asking about specific brokerages, because I see Roe put in there a specific brokerage, I don't. Here's the thing. This is what I'll tell you. I've been with 13 brokerages. I work with many different brokerages. I can tell you this. I won't go into specifics about the brokerages, and here's why. I don't want to. Basically, think of it this way. I have like a 5,000-foot view of a lot of brokerages, so I have like the overview, and I don't want to misspeak because I think that that's not the right way for me to handle speaking about specific brokerages. So that's why I don't go into it, because I don't want to misspeak. And also, too, even if I speak on a national level about certain brokerages, the way that a particular team or the way a particular broker might run their business within that larger brand, okay, within that larger brand might be completely different from what you hear elsewhere. So that's why there are people all over the country with different brokerages, because there's some people that, I could probably name specifics, but I, again, don't want to, because I think that each one is individual. Okay. So JT asks, how do you know when to leave a brokerage? When they're not meeting your goals anymore, when they no longer have the tools to meet the goals that you were setting. So here's the thing. There's either one of two things. You have set goals, right? You set SMART goals. Okay. And what happens is their tools that they have are not helping you meet those goals. Or what happens is this. Here's the other thing. You ready? Your goals change. Your goals change for good reasons. Like, so originally you wanted to work with 7 military families, right? You wanted to work within 7 military families. You wanted to help them move, sell, rent, relocate in 1 year. And now you've doubled, tripled. You keep moving up. And now what you want to do is you want to get into, let's say, maybe commercial spaces. You want to start helping those veterans that that are now getting out of the military, and you want to help them get into businesses. You want to help them do different things. So now what happens is your SMART goals have changed. So what happens is when the broker has never met your needs as far as what you need to hit your goals, okay, then what happens is that's when you should leave. Okay. So that was a really good question. And I hope you like that answer. Give me a thumbs up. Look, give me a pat on the back. I want a pat on the back if you like that answer. Okay. Because, I really think that was a really good question, and that really gave me a good way to, to answer you with that. JT said, great answer. Fantastic. Wonderful answer. I added all the other ones. I was puffing a little bit. That's all you're going to hear about real estate exam prep now. But maybe I was telling a little truth there. So what else I want to tell you is this. I'm going to give you a secret weapon. I'm going to give you a secret weapon. Okay. The secret weapon is this. What you need to do is go into the brokerages that you're interviewing with, and you need to say, here are my goals. They could be whatever you want them to be. But what it has to be is at the end of the year, if you hit this goal, will you be happy? Okay. And Positive Leader said, how do you know training is good at a brokerage if you have done it? So you ready? I'm going to tell you in my answer that I was kind of giving, and then you kind of give me a question that kind of segues into it, that if you haven't done it. Yeah. So here it is. You want to go in there, say, here are my goals. What are the tools that you have that have helped me, that will help me get to this thing? And then they'll say, oh, we have this and that and this and that and this and that. And you go, okay. Can you give me a list of agents in your brokerage that have used this and that to meet goals similar to mine? Oh my God. Mic drop. Done. That's it. We can end the webinar right there. And why do you want a list of people? Because you want to randomly pick one and say, hey, here are my goals. I'm interviewing with your brokerage. I'm wondering, they said that you had similar goals to mine. How have these tools helped you? How has the training helped you? Okay. And then here's the thing. Also, every single brokerage has a list of all their agents, every single one of them on their website, probably pretty much, all their contact information. So if they are not giving you a complete list, and you could just go in there and kind of just reach out to people. Realtors are typically people. So they'll chat you up. So guess what? A lot of people always have this concern where they're like, hey, what if I get into the brokerage and it's not the right brokerage for me? So bottom line is, if you do what I'm telling you to do, I'm giving you the secret sauce. I'm giving you 17 years of wisdom. Okay, so basically, listen, have I made mistakes? Oh, dear God, I've made mistakes. Have I made right moves? Yes, triple yes. Okay, absolutely. Have I? So let's see. Kristen asked a question, and I actually wanted to interrupt my train of thought to answer it. I have a random one. Is it inappropriate to not want to do a phone interview? No, it's not inappropriate. If that's so listen, that goes back to my culture thing. Okay. If you want a brokerage that is not going to shy away from the in-person things, okay, then if you want to do a phone interview, if you want to do an in-person interview and then they're not doing it, guess what? Cross them off the list. They do not have the same values, the same culture as you. I work with right now. So I do trainings, I do motivational speeches, I do a lot of work with recruiters for different brokerages, and there's brokerages right now that are willing to have in-person meetings, that are having, meetings, in their office, that are having work being done in the office, and the agents who work within that culture share the same values. They sit there and they go, yeah, no, actually, absolutely, I want to be in the office right now. Okay. Other ones are promoting 100% at home work, things like that. So that is the situation where there's going to be someone for you. So to really answer your question, Kristen, if you want to do an in-person interview and they're not doing an in-person interview, then you have to really question, do they have the right culture set up that I want to be a part of? And that's, like I said, that's if that's what your goal is and that's what your issue is. So Golden Girls, love the name, said, honestly, I have no idea what area of real estate I want to pursue. Figure that out, otherwise you're going to be in a situation where you're not going to have your goals outlined, and you're not going to be able to know what is happening as far as, am I doing good or bad? You need to hammer that out, okay? And here's the thing, and I'm not saying that to be hard on you, to be like Gestapo, But you need to know. We need to have a yard. We need to measure somehow, and whatever that needs to do. Maybe you need to go and interview some agents. Maybe you need to pick up the phone and say, hey, I was thinking about getting into commercial real estate. I see that you're with this brokerage. Would you have 10 minutes just to talk to me about it? Because I don't know if this is right for me. Not because you want to choose that brokerage, but because maybe you just want to talk to an agent who's willing to talk to you for 10 minutes. I guarantee you, if you go online to any group, okay, you're going to be able to find an agent. Listen, you've been here right now virtually with me for 28 minutes, okay? I think you realize something about me. I'm bubbly. I have a fun personality. At least that's what I like to think. Again, maybe I'm puffing again, but maybe I'm not. So you're going to find people similar to me, similar to you, okay, in real estate. And what happens is this. They're always going to be willing to talk to you. They're always willing to talk to you because sometimes there's incentives for them recruiting you. Be aware of that too, because what happens is this. That's also another reason why people come to the table and they sometimes are very, very, very aggressive, okay? And what they do is this, and I'm not saying that that's a bad thing, but listen to what I'm telling you in the interview process. Do you realize how in the interview process, the way that I'm setting you up, I'm really gearing you to really measure the brokerage against what your goals are. So a good recruiter is going to call you up and say, hey, what would make you choose a brokerage? What are the things that are going to make you want to be at a brokerage and want to stay? And what are your goals so that you will be successful? What is the kind of culture that you want? Okay. Amber wrote a great question. Do you need a lot of experience to do luxury real estate? No, 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 and no. I've dealt with celebrities. I've dealt with mostly. Listen. I'm not Beyonce's real estate agent, but I will tell you this: I've worked with B, C-list celebrities, people that basically they think they're bigger than they are more times than not. But I've done luxury. And I'll tell you this, you don't need to have a lot of experience, because here's what it is. Do you see how I'm gearing everything towards you guys, and I'm saying, hey, we have to know what your goals are. What are the things that are going to help you as far as you being successful? So I'll tell you this, how I started in luxury. When I was doing luxury and when I was working with the B and C list celebrities, what happened was this: I had basically like a concierge service where it was me and like 7 other people, and what we did was we made ourselves 100% available. If you wanted to talk at 3 o'clock in the morning, one of us was on call. We were a 24/7 brokerage. And we always had that. We had a concierge that would answer the phones at 24/7, and the people like that, because what happens is what you don't realize about catering to that community. And again, you ask them what's important to you. So when I work with my B and C list celebrities who are doing luxury, they don't care that I've sold 700 million homes. They don't care about that. What they care about is they say, hey, if I'm halfway around the world and I have a question because I'm sitting up at night in my bed on my iPad thinking, oh my God, what's going to happen with this? Can I change the colors of this bathroom? They want to know that they could call someone up, they could text someone, and they could say, hey, this is what I need. And that's their needs, okay? That's their needs. And I catered to that. So again, you want to find a brokerage that is going to cater to your needs, that is going to meet your goals. And what happens is this: you have to do the same thing for your clients. So like when I interview clients, I always tell them, I go, what's the most important thing to you? I said, you could create your own wonderful, amazing real estate agent. How would you build them? Usually the first couple of things that come to their mind are the most important things to them. You harp on that. You figure out and you tailor your presentation to that. What happens is I never walk into a presentation. This is me. Not only because I could do this. I walk into presentations and I never have anything prepared, usually, because here's the thing with the internet. I can find everything out right there, and it could be an interactive experience. And depending on what they say dictates where we would go, and I know where to go to get the information. So JT said luxury is more about the relationships than the money. I'll tell you this. It's really about, and like I said, that's why I developed that concierge service, because most of them wanted to know that if they're in Taiwan, and it's 9 o'clock in the morning there, and it's totally flip-flopped here, that they could call me up and they could say, hey, someone will be able to manage something and talk to them off that ledge, okay? Marsha wrote a great question. What brokers also combine interior design with their services? Are there any? Absolutely. There's some brokers that actually specialize in that. And again, what I would do is I would start Googling Houston, Texas, interior design brokerage. Boom. See what they have up there. Okay. So what are my thoughts on a flat fee brokerage? So basically that would be someone that might be targeting a certain kind of clientele, that might be more price conscious. Okay. And there's nothing wrong with that. Listen, I go to Costco. Okay. I go to Walmart. I go to Target. Okay. There's times when I price match. Okay. There's times when I do that. So if your goal is, I want to sell, I want to work with these types of buyers, these types of sellers, and this is what I want to do, and their model fits your goals, okay, then that would be what it is. That would be the right brokerage for you. And again, I've worked for many different kinds of brokerages, okay, so that's something that I think that my thoughts on every brokerage is it could be a right fit for you depending on what your goals are. So someone asked another question in there. They said, you keep talking about goals. How do we figure out what our goals are? So Ro asked that question. And I think that that's a combination of several things. Okay. Number one, why are you getting into real estate? Okay. Number one, why are you getting into real estate? I got into real estate because I just wanted to be in sales. It was that simple. I was 19. Okay. I was a young buck. I had a six pack, a whole head of hair, and now 17 years later, I look like a tater tot and I'm bald. So, it's been a great ride. I really have to say that. I've done so many different things. So I got into it because I wanted to be in sales, and that was my passion. So I think that if I was in sales, and you have to realize I was living at home with my parents, so I didn't have many monetary goals. Like if I made any money, it was a positive contribution to life, So that is a situation there. I would definitely say, figure out what it is that you need. Are you getting into real estate because you want the flexibility? So do you want to be at a brokerage that is going to be able to maximize your time as far as maybe they have services that will help you. Maybe they have transaction coordinators, admins, things like that. So maybe in turn, you're going to end up making less money because maybe the monthly fees are higher. So that's why, do you see how it all kind of goes back to what are your goals? Okay. So that would be what I would probably do is I would figure out, why did you start this journey? Why are you listening to me? Why are you here? What was it that you were hoping to do? Because here's the thing, even if it was very loosely formed like a mashed potato clay statue, like where you're like, I kind of got something going on there. There was a reason why you wanted to do this. So start with that. Okay. So Kristen said, I needed a new direction and a change, and real estate was appealing. Yeah, I mean, listen, real estate's super appealing. So even if you're just like, hey, I have a loose idea here, I needed a change. Okay, so what were you doing, and what do you need to do to meet your needs monetarily? Because at 19, like I said, I didn't have any monetary goals. I was just like, yeah, I just want to do something. And here's the thing. When I started in the business, it wasn't like glamorous. It was one of those things that, I sat behind a desk with wallpaper that had rows and columns of, tiny flowers that was from like the 60s. Okay. And the people that were at the office with me were Ethel and Martha. And they were about 900 years old, combined age. Okay. They smoked Marlboro Reds for like 800 years, and their voices reflected that. And this was a typical real estate agent of the time. I mean, it wasn't, like I said, it wasn't glamorous. It wasn't the Shaws of Sunset. I mean, it wasn't that. Okay. That is the situation there. I kind of got into a situation where I just wanted to do, and I didn't have a good plan. And here's the thing, I will tell you, that's one of the reasons why I wasn't as successful when I first started as I was when I went later on, because I was just kind of waking up and going, wherever the wind blows is where I'm going to go today. And I was a free spirit. It was me, Ethel, and Martha. I mean, and then I realized, I was like, oh man, okay, maybe I need to get some structure to this. Maybe I need to make my mashed potato clay statue look like something. Maybe I actually need to start figuring out what I'm doing. So TJ said, is a brokerage like Keller Williams or Century 21 better than an online-based brokerage like eXp? Listen, I've worked for a handful of those in there, okay? And what I will tell you is this. It all depends on what you need as far as your culture. So, TJ, if you're someone who you're like, I really like a cloud-based system, or I like the online only where there's no brick and mortar, then absolutely you probably would be open to the culture, right? Going back to kind of where I started on this, the culture of what you're looking for as a brokerage aligns with one more heavily than another. So that would be a ding in that corner, right? That would be something I would check that off. I'd be like, okay, that's, good there. But if you're like, hey, I want, a brick and mortar solution, and I want more of this, I like the culture of going into the office, right? that is something too that you would want to, weigh out, because again, it has to do with your goals, your culture, your values, what's important to you, and why you got into this, and what you would be happy with at the end of a year. Because here's the thing, there's so many people, the attrition rate, meaning how many people kind of fall off in the first year of doing real estate, is massive. Okay, is massive, because, and I'll tell you why, because most people do not have a good plan. And listen, if you take anything away from me, that's the plan. That's what you need. You need a plan, okay? Enrique said, I want to make money helping people get into a home where families and memories are created to me, and that means life and everything else. And here's what I'm going to tell you. Enrique, okay? I love the warm fuzzies. Listen to me. I cry with my clients at the closing table. Listen to me. I cry. I love it. I'm a hugger, okay? You guys don't know that about me because we're virtual here, okay? So I can't send you any virtual hugs, but I'm a hugger. I'm the kind of guy that I'll meet you at an open house. I'll bear hug you, okay? So I'm totally into the warm fuzzies. I love warm fuzzies. What I will tell you is this. I can't measure happy. I can't do it. So if you're telling me what's a goal, okay, for me, like you say, I want to help families be happy. Okay, again, I can't measure happy. So how do you turn that into a SMART goal? And how do you turn that into something that is, measurable? Well, I'll tell you how. Okay, I can't measure happy, but darn it, I can tell you how many people refer me. So here's the thing. I would say to you, what might be a goal for you, okay, is this. I will tell you this. What a goal might be is I want to generate 3 referrals from every closing that I make, and I want to make X amount of closings this year. That's how you measure happy. That's how you measure happy, but also be able to sit there and say, I'm going to go make Scrooge McDuck money and go sit in my vault. Because here's the thing. What happens at the end of the day, a hug and $1 gets me a ride on the subway. I love the emotion, okay? But it has to turn into tangible goals, okay? Kristen said, my mother-in-law sold her home last April, and I went with her to the closing, and oh my God, the emotions. Yeah, absolutely. I've really, really, like, dog dying in the movie, cried with some of my clients. I've really been there. I've felt it. And it is an emotional thing. So that's why, again, start with culture. Start with checking in on agents that they've just hired that had similar goals to you, and how are they liking it, And that is something that I will tell you is going to help you guys out. So listen, bottom of my heart, what I want to do right now is this. Thank each one of you guys for coming on here to spend some time with me in the afternoon, evening, morning, wherever you are, wherever you're listening to this. And I want to just give you one last reminder, one last piece of advice, that if you have not signed up for Prep Agent, I want you to make sure that you definitely think about investing in yourself before you start your career. Because here's the thing, it is an investment, okay? It is an investment, and what you don't want to do is this. You don't want to regret not making an investment in yourself. And I will tell you this, there are fees involved in regards to getting started, and there's fees involved as far as marketing and everything. So this is not something that you're basically opening up your own business. So part of that, I definitely highly recommend signing up with Prep Agent if you haven't already done so. And for those of you who did take the test, you passed, thank you so much, and congratulations. And for those of you who are still struggling, listen, you have Prep Agent. You also have me and Cynthia. We're 2 instructors that offer private lessons with Prep Agent. So if you just go to more and you go to private tutoring, you could sign up. And here's a great thing about private tutoring. Let's say you're like, oh my God, this Stu guy, he's just words of wisdom. You want to sign up for a private tutoring session with me? You do not have to be a Prep Agent member to do that. So if you just want to spend some time with me, talk about what your game plan is, how you could tackle studying for the test, we could help you out with that. Myself or Cynthia, we are always here to help you. You just hit schedule session and boom, we'll be right there to help you out. You can schedule it, pay for it right through the website. And again, you do not have to be a Prep Agent member to spend some time with me or Cynthia. And but we do hope that you use the combination, the triple threat kind of thing. So guys, again, I want to thank you for spending some time with me. Hope you got something out of this. Give me a thumbs up. Give yourself a thumbs up. Thank you for the really good questions, because that helped make this a really great, fantastic webinar. So guys, again, thank you so much for joining us, and have a great night.